did the workout with the 6:15 a.m. class. So that's usually the time I try to train. Our 6:15 is a little smaller group, a great group of guys. And so that's usually when I try to sneak in my training every now and then. So got to sneak that in today and retest one of my workouts from 12 weeks ago that I do the same programming as the members and improve my time pretty significantly. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm drenched in sweat. And in doing so, it's time to kind of mop the floor. So if I don't get a chance to read and get some me time that way, I get some me time with some manual labor, so that works out pretty well. So.
We got 10 a.m. patients coming in. Have you sit in on some of those. It's gonna be fun. So what's going on, Amanda?
So I have something going on in my hamstring glute area and it's no fun and I want to get it fixed.
Where's it bugging you?
I think the proximal hamstring, which is that attaches into your sit bone down into your hamstring.
Okay.
You're speculating maybe we've got something else going on in this area, some other muscle that I don't know.
I like that word, speculating.
Yes. So we're going to try to figure out what it is. I feel it when I run. I feel it a lot when I sit. I feel it when I do some of the strength training like squats, things like that.
And you're a runner.
Yes.
A high-level runner, safe to say.
No.
Yes, being modest. What was the interesting part here? Because you said it bothers you to strength train.
Right.
What about running?
I mean, I can feel it when I run, but I've been finding with this particular, not injury, particular condition, that sometimes the strength training is bothering it more than running.
All right. So what motion in particular was bugging you that you think?
Boy, so I think squats probably. Yeah, getting down into a squat position, and this is just based on the fact that often days where the workout involves squats, later on I'm going to feel a little bit of a kick up in pain and aggravation. Yeah.
So what are you feeling right now?
Tugging through here and down into here a little bit too.
So one of the things we talked about was that the hamstrings are the antagonistic muscle or the opposite muscle group to the quads. And when you're squatting, you shouldn't really have hamstring pain, if at all. And tendinosis or tendinopathy is a degenerative version of a tendinitis. A tendinitis is an acute irritation that's really swollen and inflamed, and most people think they have that, but they don't. They have a tendinosis. And so when you're running, you'll feel that in the hamstring because as your leg swings forward, your hamstrings are on stretch, and you feel that more. But you really shouldn't feel that with a squat. But there's another muscle called the inferior gemellus that sits right over top where the hamstrings insert into the pelvis. And one of the jobs of that muscle is when the hip bends or the trunk bends forward, it actually brings your leg out. And squat obviously creates this bending motion at the hips, so that can put that muscle in a state of overactivation a bit, and creates this kind of threat perception in your brain that you feel as pain. So the analogy that I was telling Amanda is there's nothing wrong with the muscle. It's doing what it's supposed to. But like imagine if you walk around with your bicep like that all day long, right? If you're just kind of activating, there's nothing wrong with the bicep, but eventually it's going to get tired. And then if you try to pick something up, it gives out. And you go, there's obviously something wrong with my bicep, but it was just more of a firing motor pattern. Hold your legs here. How does that feel?
I can feel it. I felt it, yeah, like through here.
Okay, was that the pain or a pain?
No, it was the pain.
So you most likely don't have a hamstring related issue. You probably have a hip external rotation issue. Because doing that, right, not letting your leg externally rotate and come out, that has nothing or very little to do with the hamstrings, especially in this position.
Okay.
Right, that's all hip. So that becomes a differential diagnosis piece of instead of just hammering isometrics or eccentrics on the hamstrings, let's figure out why external rotation or hip abduction might be potentially causing some of this issue. Right?
So what we're gonna do now is start to develop a motion pattern, a movement pattern that is less threatening for the brain. Now that we kind of have a theory, a hypothesis of what's going on, we're going to go right into it and start to teach the brain and the body to move, and that it's okay, that there's nothing really serious going on, and gradually increase the amount that she can do. All right, so Amanda's doing a lap around now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create some pre-test scenarios for her. Things that we know are bothering her before we get into treatment and start to really change and modify certain movements and add to make her feel better. So we always wanna do a pre-test and post-test after treatment to make sure that what we're doing is effective. So she's gonna run, she's gonna sit, she's gonna do certain movements like squats that we know have been aggravating her. And then we're gonna adjust some things, work with her hips, and add in some strength training elements to help her brain, nervous system, everything process what's happening and lower that threat perception. So we like to break it down into really two things that happen with pain. You can have learned fear, or you can have learned hope. With learned fear, that's when you really don't know what's happening, things are getting worse, and it starts to kind of snowball. But with learned hope, you learn that whatever's happening with your body, especially something that's painful, that can be changed fairly quickly from pre to post test, that gives you hope. And once you learn hope, pain starts to go down. So that's what we're going to work on today. All right, so we're going to finish out with just a little hands-on work, again, to just calm down the nervous system a bit, challenge the muscles a little bit more specifically. Killing lights in here. So again, this is that isometric motion you talked about, keeping the muscle at the same length while kind of isolating it. Does it feel isolated?
Feels isolated.
All by itself.
Feels like it's being punished.
On an island. And slowly relax so we get a little bit more motion. How's that feel?
Fine.
So there's kind of a spot right there where the quality of motion really changes. So we'll hold it there, really activate it some more. And relax. And then we'll go through the full rotational motion.
Yeah, let me go. What's up, cat?
Changing it all?
Yep.
How's that?
Feels like it's letting go a little bit.
Okay. Got one more lap around the building. See how it feels. I hope you got her face when she did that.